Listen, I'll take that judge down to some pill mills down in Florida and show lots of medicine being practiced like that in people who feel very justified in practicing that kind of medicine.
Yeah, I see what your point is, but it shouldn't be justified. And we need to be on notice as physicians that we need to practice within the standard of care and try and help our patients to the very, at the very least.
I'll tell you, every time I see somebody really get into trouble, a doctor, is when they don't have proper training on addiction and they get involved with a drug addict and don't know it. They get into that dance and they get sucked into the vortex.
So you don't have some sympathy, so you have some sympathy for Dr. Murray a lot.
I have sympathy for him. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay at all. But I don't want to. What I don't like is blaming the victim. Number one, I don't think it's okay to say. This was just, it was awful. It was agreed, let's face it. But he got sucked in way over his head, and other doctors are doing the same. And we have an obligation as a medical profession to look at that issue, is my point. But, Garo, you made a point earlier, is that the judge made a big issue about how he showed no remorse and didn't feel guilty for what he had done. Wouldn't that have a problem for him, an appeal, if he had done that?
That's correct. I think anytime there's appellate remedies that are being explored, and I'm sure Nareg and his team are exploring those, to have your client make a statement of allocution or any kind of a showing of remorse really defeats the purpose of the appellate process.
So the judge coming up and saying that he should have been showing more remorse and feelings of guilt, you might have been coaching him not to do that.
Well, I didn't even have to coach him. Dr. Murray's been adamant from the very beginning as to what occurred on June 25th. And he's always said he's loved Mr. Jackson and he would never do anything that would hurt Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, no, not intentionally. Not intentionally.
Right, but as far as getting out there and apologizing or accepting responsibility like the judge would have liked, he was adamant that he was not going to do that.
Oh, what do you think about that?
I think we should absolutely accept our mistake. I mean, there's clear errors that he made, and he has to realize it, and that he got himself in trouble by not recognizing it
as an addict. That's the arrogance again.
It just, no, forgive me, gentlemen. Accepting responsibility is one thing in the outside world, but in a criminal courtroom, when you accept responsibility, you're accepting the guilty verdict.
Right.
Okay, and there's a big difference between one and the other.
So you would advise him not to do that?
Absolutely.
You would advise
not only that, I feel compelled to say that I too read Nareg's brief. It is a brilliantly written brief.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And
quite a story.
The oral argument of his colleague, co-counsel, Mr. Chernoff, was right on point. You took away a 56 or 58-year-old man's 56 years of life, and you dumped it in the toilet by saying, well, this is a menace to society, he's a danger to community. Nonsense. At most, after reading this brief, I thought that the judge would not impose anything greater than the midterm of 3 years, which would still be a significant sentence.
And Nareg, that would be the usual thing, would it not? That they choose the middle ground unless there's some extreme circumstance. Is this judge out of line here? Is that...
Absolutely. I mean, the upper term is usually for the most heinous offenses, or for gang members, or for someone with a prior criminal record, or when you have a incident with physical violence, or we have an incident with weapons.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Murray. I'm Dr. Murray. Nareg, I'm devastated. I trusted you guys. This was, what do you tell him? What do you tell me, Conrad Murray?
Well, Dr. Murray, ever since the conviction, he's clearly disappointed with the jury's findings. He's clearly disappointed with the sentencing today. But he has always been adamant as far as his legal team goes. He's very proud and very happy with the defense that he got.
So he's not angry with you guys?
Absolutely
But how about his
And as far as the sentencing memoranda goes, I'd like to say it was a team effort. All the defense team got together and we all did a...
Your name was first on the signature, though. I saw that.
Thank you.
But it
was the only signature.
I noticed that, yes. How is Conrad Murray doing today?
Well, he's doing the best under the circumstances. Like I said, he's... disappointed.
What about this
sentencing? But he wasn't surprised.
What about this? Oh, that's interesting, because he was surprised at first, and now he's not surprised. So he knew this judge had a thing.
Well, Dr. Murray always hopes for the best. Yeah. But we were expecting the worst. I think the judge has made it clear from his rulings earlier on, from remanding Dr. Murray conviction.
That he was surprised
we kind of knew what his feelings and his attitude was towards.
What about this reality show thing you guys that the judge brought up? This documentary.
Well, you know what? I don't really feel comfortable commenting on that. That was all done prior to my involvement in this case, and I had absolutely no role.
Was this the British documentary? Is that one?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Alon, we're the doctors on the panel. What are we to do with all this? Where does this go? I mean, it's kind of a sad day that our profession is being, in a way I'm encouraged.
It's unfortunate because it shows one bad apple.
Yeah.
I think. But overall, I think medicine is a great profession. We mostly are ethical and trying to do the right thing. And the judge was making an example of this one doctor that we all need to practice within the standard of care in good medicine. And I think that in general, it looks bad on doctors, at least today, but we're put on notice. And I think that as long as we practice well within our boundaries, I think physicians are going to be fine.
I think that's
It's not a bad apple, first of all. A bad apple, it's an apple with a nick. You know, you cannot say a bad apple.
Garo,
Good people do bad things.
Is your apple chilling these days? Is he getting concerned?
My apple
Dr. Klein?
my apple has his own aches and pains.
Is he getting worried?
No, he's not worried.
Okay.
I'm not worried for him either.
All right. I just think the big message here from our peers is don't go it alone. Consult with your peers.
Absolutely.
Always collaborate. The way medicine is so complicated these days. Don't go it alone.
And I think I've practiced, improved medicine since this case because
Yes.
when I'm not sure about something, I'm quick to ask one of my colleagues. I'm quick to ask for help.
And you made a great example of this issue of doctors being the friend. Boy, when they're a mental health issue, you are not the friend. Yep. I got to go to break. Next, the fighting, the drinking, the